My fiancé called me pathetic while planning to marry me, take half, and run off with my best man. So I canceled everything, went ghost, and built a company without them. And now they are begging me for help. Hey Reddit, I don't usually post on here. I just scroll, read drama, and mind my business. But things at home went so sideways, I honestly didn't know where else to drop this. We were supposed to get married in 3 days. Everything was booked: venue, flowers, DJ, catering, hotel blocks, the whole nine. My tux was already picked up. Her dress had been altered twice. I wasn't nervous. I was ready. I'd known her since high school. We'd been dating since we were 17. Went to college together. Moved in after graduation. Split bills. Made it work. I worked full-time as a product lead at a mid-sized tech company. Decent money, solid benefits. She bounced between marketing jobs but never stuck with one. Said she was still finding her passion. I didn't press her. I just covered whatever she couldn't. 2 incomes, one of them stable. Guess which one paid for the wedding? It started when I saw her phone light up on the kitchen island while she was showering. Normally, I wouldn't have touched it. But the message preview said, "He's such a moron. You're almost there." I opened it. From Julia, her best friend. Real piece of work. The type who postman ain't to quotes between duck-face selfies and somehow always needs $200 by Friday. I scrolled up. Julia. Once you get half, you never have to work again. My fiancé. He'll never see it coming. I just have to fake it for 3 more days. Julia. Lamau, he's pathetic. At least Nick's hot. My fiancé. God, I feel gross every time I touch Jack. I can't wait till it's over. I didn't keep reading. I went straight to her messages with Nick. Nick had been my best friend since 7th grade. We played middle school soccer together. I helped him get his first job. Helped him buy his car. He was even crashing on my couch 2 years ago after his lease ended, and he didn't have a backup plan. He was also my best man. Their messages went back over a year. Dates, hookups, videos. She was telling him things like, "Just be patient. It'll all be ours soon." They were planning it. The wedding was just the legal step before the cash out. She was going to marry me, divorce me, and walk away with half. They were already looking at apartments in another city. She even called me dumb enough to hand it all over. Nick said, "Just keep pretending until it's done. Keep in mind, this was my apartment. I paid the down payment. I paid the bills. She didn't even pay for groceries unless I asked twice." And Nick? Dude was broke. He hadn't held a job for longer than 6 months since college. Always blaming the economy or management. I vouched for him at my company once. He flaked on the interview. Still owed me $700 from a temporary car repair I paid for last year. And then it got even dumber. Nick wasn't just messing with my fiancé. He was also stringing along this older woman, must have been in her late 40s, who ran a small skincare company. I'd seen her once at an event and assumed she was a client. Nope. He was playing sugar baby, selling her on this dream of marriage, kids, a house in the suburbs. Even sent her the same shirtless pics he sent my fiancé. Copy-paste Romeo. He told her I was just some old friend who was jealous of their relationship. Said I had anger issues and abandonment trauma, whatever that means. That's when it clicked. They were both in on the scam. My fiancé wanted a payout. Nick wanted to upgrade to a 6-figure lifestyle with someone else's money. And they were both using me as the launch pad. I didn't freak out, didn't yell, didn't text her. I took screenshots, saved the conversations. Every file went into a private Google Drive folder. I copied it all to a USB. Then I booked a cheap room at an airport motel and left while she was still asleep. First thing the next morning, I started pulling out. Called the venue. Told them the wedding was off. Lost the deposit. Whatever. Same with the florist, DJ, caterer. Some of them gave partial refunds. Most didn't. I ate the loss. Still cheaper than a divorce. Then I called my lawyer. I'd met this guy before when my uncle went through a messy divorce. He answered on the second ring. I told him the basics. He said, "Do not marry her. Do not tell her what you know. Let me draw up a contingency prenup immediately. Worst case, you leave with nothing lost." I asked him if I could sue for fraud if she went through with it. He said in some states, if there's provable intent to deceive for financial gain, especially if there's collusion, it could be considered marriage fraud or even civil conspiracy. But it's hard to win. Courts usually don't care about cheating. They care about money, kids, and contracts. Fine. I could live with that. I made 2 more moves that day. Froze the joint account. Left just enough in there to not trigger questions. Took my name off any auto payments she used. Spotify, Amazon, all of it. That night, I contacted the older woman Nick was targeting. I found her business email on LinkedIn. Wrote a short message. "You don't know me, but I know Nick. He's engaged in multiple relationships, including with my now ex-fiancé. You deserve the truth. I have proof. I attached screenshots. Didn't ask for anything. Just sent it. Then I went to bed. No messages. No calls. My phone stayed silent. But the war had started. She woke up around 10 the next morning and called me 6 times. I didn't answer. Sent a text. Hey, where are you? We still have to pick up the tuxes and confirm head count. I left it on read. 2 hours later, her mom texted me. Is something wrong? Mila is really upset. She said you're not answering. Didn't reply. At noon, she finally tried showing up at my place. The one I paid for. I was 3 counties over at a lawyer's office finalizing emergency paperwork. I headed back that evening, figured she'd make another scene. Sure enough, she was waiting in the driveway, pacing around like she paid the mortgage. She spotted me pulling in and walked straight up like nothing was wrong. We need to talk. You're freaking me out, she said, crossing her arms like she was the one owed something. I got out, unlocked the door, and stepped inside. She tried to follow. I stopped in the doorway and turned around. You're not coming in. What? Are you serious? She tried laughing like I was pulling some prank. This isn't funny. I know you've been sleeping with Nick. Silence. Dead silence. Her face dropped for half a second, then flipped into full fake confusion mode. What are you talking about? Nick? That's crazy. Why would you? I saw the messages, I cut in. You were planning to marry me, take half my money, and keep screwing him on the side. You called me disgusting. You said I was pathetic. You said you couldn't wait to be done with me. She froze. I didn't let her speak. I wasn't there for excuses. You've been with him for over a year. I've got the proof. Messages. Hotel receipts. Screenshots. You were laughing about it with Julia like I was a clown. Her mouth opened like she was gonna deny it, but nothing came out. Just that dumb look people get when they realize the lie won't work this time. This place is mine. I boxed your crap. It's in the garage. You've got 10 minutes. After that, you're trespassing. You went through my phone? She finally managed, still stuck in denial mode. Yeah, you left it unlocked. Maybe next time don't run a scam using your real name on hotel bookings. I didn't mean for it to happen with him, she said, trying the fake tears now. Things got messed up. You've been distant. I didn't know how to tell you. Save it. You already told Nick everything. And Julia. And apparently half your group chat. You just forgot to mention it to the guy paying for your life. I gave you everything, she yelled like she actually believed that. I stayed with you when you were broke. I laughed. Out loud. Broke? I covered every bill. You haven't paid rent in 2 years. You ordered takeout and called that emotional labor. Her face turned red. She shoved past me into the garage, yanked open the box on top and started tossing clothes into her car, like she was owed something. She turned to me one more time before getting in the car. You're a coward. You're ruining both our lives. No, I said. You ruined yours. I'm just cleaning up. She slammed the car door and peeled out like she was in a movie. I stood there until the sound disappeared, then walked back inside and locked the door behind me. She left a voicemail crying, talking about how confused she was, how nothing made sense. That was the first time I heard the panic in her voice. I knew what she was doing. Spinning stories, probably blaming stress or work or saying I was acting cold lately. She had a million lies ready to go, but none of them mattered anymore. Later that day, I gave the lawyer all the files, the messages, the call logs, even the hotel receipts I pulled from her email account. The guy didn't even flinch. Said he's seen worse. Drew up a notarized statement confirming I had canceled the wedding before it happened and never signed a marriage certificate. That piece of paper was the firewall. No legal marriage equals no legal entitlement. Not even palimony in my state since she had her own income and no shared assets. She didn't take it well. Around 6 p.m., her best friend Julia blew up my phone. You're an immature piece of trash. You're abandoning her on the biggest day of her life. I always knew you'd bail. You controlling psycho. Cool. Screenshot, block, done. Then her dad called. Now this guy. I actually liked him before. We used to work on his truck together when I'd visit. But the second he got her version of the story, he flipped. Said I was playing games, humiliating the family, and that I'd better make this right before the weekend. I hung up. 10 minutes later, her uncle messaged me on Facebook, saying I was a disgrace. Never met the dude in my life. That night, she showed up at my buddy Derek's apartment looking for me. I wasn't there. Derek told her I'd left town for a work emergency and wasn't taking calls. She cried, said I was abandoning our future. Then she tried to gaslight him into thinking I'd been emotionally distant for months, and maybe she wasn't sure anymore. He didn't buy it. He already knew everything. Meanwhile, I got an email from the older woman Nick was seeing. No intro, just a line that said, "Thank you. I saw enough. He's gone." Attached were screenshots of her own. Nick begging, blaming me, swearing up and down it was fake. Then another one where he said, "It was all just for fun. She means nothing," talking about my fiancé. Now they were both exposed. Next morning, Nick called me. I didn't answer. Voicemail. "Man, I don't know what she told you, but this is getting out of hand. We should talk." Blocked. Around 3 p.m., my ex-fiancé showed up at my work. Security called me before she got past the front desk. I had them escort her out. She screamed in the lobby, literally screamed. Said I was ruining her life, that I owed her an explanation, that I was ruining everything for no reason. I texted her later, "I know everything. Check your messages with Julia and Nick. The wedding's off. The accounts are closed. Don't contact me again." She didn't reply. She didn't have to. 2 hours later, I got a Venmo request for $6,350. Caption: reimbursement for wedding costs plus therapy. Blocked her on Venmo too. What came next was just noise. Her friends dragged me on social media. I didn't respond. She posted a black and white selfie with a caption about being betrayed by the one she trusted most. People in the comments were calling me a narcissist, a coward, a manipulator. I didn't reply to a single one. I just watched. Within the week, her job put her on leave. Apparently, she'd used company time and resources to plan parts of the wedding. That got flagged when she started missing work for emotional distress. Not my problem. Nick, meanwhile, got dumped and evicted. The sugar mama owned his place. Gone. He tried moving in with a buddy who kicked him out after 2 days once he heard what happened. Guy didn't want drama in his house. Then came the cherry on top. My lawyer found a bank transfer from my account to a hotel under her name for a business trip last month. But the hotel was local, and the second guest listed was N. Carter. Nick. That transfer was logged as fraud. I filed a report, shut down the card, and flagged the payment. Bank reversed the charge and blacklisted her name from my accounts. She tried calling me again. Left a voicemail this time that actually made me laugh. "You ruined everything. I gave you the best years of my life. I was confused. Nick meant nothing. Please, let's talk. This can still work." That same day, her mom sent me a text. "We raised her better than this. I'm sorry. Please know you didn't deserve any of this." One sane person, finally. I moved into a short-term rental the next day. New zip code, new phone. My lawyer filed a no-contact letter and had it delivered to her work address by courier. I didn't want an apology. I didn't want closure. I just wanted her to know that I knew everything. And she didn't win. I wasn't done yet. This was just cleanup. The real payback? That was coming next. After I kicked her off the property, I changed the locks again, tossed her spare key, and got a second camera installed over the garage. Motion sensor. Audio. I wasn't taking chances. She tried texting again the next day. "Please just talk to me." Then, "You're destroying everything. I made a mistake, but I still love you." Deleted. By the end of the week, I had a new phone number, new email, and moved into a month-to-month apartment downtown. No one except my lawyer and one close friend knew where I was. I pulled every bit of cash out of our shared bank account before freezing it. It wasn't much, a few grand, but it was enough to get me clear of her reach. She still thought we were technically engaged. She didn't get that I had already burned every bridge behind me. She showed up at my old job trying to talk to HR. They turned her away. She tried calling my mom, who hadn't even heard the full story yet, and spun some garbage about me having a breakdown. Didn't work. My mom forwarded me the voicemail, said, "She's nuts." That was when I went full ghost. I took a leave of absence from work, cashed out some stock options I'd been sitting on. Not a crazy amount, maybe $30,000, but enough to breathe for a few months. I'd been working on this side project for a while, a simple productivity platform for contractors and freelancers to manage jobs, invoices, and tracking. Nothing fancy, but solid. I moved all in on it. Day and night, that's what I did, right? That's what I worked from a fold-out table in a tiny unit above a laundromat. Ate cheap, slept less. Designed the back end myself, hired a UI guy off Reddit, pushed out a beta 3 weeks later, posted it on Product Hunt and a few niche forums. It caught. Within 2 months, we had 15,000 users. Mostly freelancers, side hustlers, part-timers. Feedback started rolling in. Bugs got patched. Someone I'd met years ago at a startup incubator reached out. Said he liked the traction and wanted to invest. I didn't even hesitate. Took the check, registered the LLC, hired 2 more devs. By month 6, we were pushing out updates weekly and pulling in real revenue. Not fantasy money, real income. Subscriptions, pay-per-use features, referrals. No fluff. While I was working, she was unraveling. A friend sent me a screenshot from her Instagram. A black and white selfie with a caption like, "Sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who destroy you." She turned off comments because they were full of people asking what happened to the wedding. Another post was some quote about self-love and healing from narcissists. Okay, sure. You were planning to rob me blind and now you're the victim? Got it. Word got around. Mutual friends started messaging me. One of them, Joe, hit me up and said, "Dude, she told people you ran off to join a cult or something." Another said she claimed I was emotionally abusive and cheated on her with my secretary. I didn't even have a secretary. The best part? Nick tried to spin his side too. After his sugar mommy dumped him, he tried crawling back to his regular circle. Most of them ghosted him. The few who didn't, I sent them the receipts. Screenshots, timelines, chat logs. Nick went radio silent after that. Haven't heard his name in a year. She, though? She kept digging deeper. She tried to file a civil claim against me for damages from canceled wedding expenses. My lawyer laughed in her face. Told her attorney there was no signed marriage certificate, no cohabitation agreement, no proof of shared assets. In our state, that meant no claim. She could try suing for emotional distress, but it wouldn't go anywhere. Especially not after we dropped the evidence packet on her legal team. She backed down fast. Then she tried one last move. Told mutual friends she was pregnant. I didn't even entertain it. Told her lawyer we'd do a paternity test on court record if she ever filed. She never followed up. No baby, just desperation. Meanwhile, I started getting invited to local pitch events, tech meetups, panels. One guy offered to introduce me to a VC firm in the Bay. I said I wasn't looking for that much capital yet. Wanted to grow slow, stable, debt-free. The real kicker? Remember Nick's sugar mommy? Turns out she was loaded. Once she cut Nick off, she reached back out to me. Not romantically, just curious. Asked how the company was going. I gave her a quick rundown. She liked what she saw. A month later, she became our first angel investor. That's when the gears started moving. I never mentioned her to anyone again. Didn't say her name, didn't trash talk her publicly, didn't even reply to the DMs she kept sending. She faded out like a cheap signal. Loud at first, then gone. But I knew it wasn't over yet. She hadn't felt it fully. Not the collapse, not the weight of it. That part, that was still coming. I got a call from an investor group out of Austin. They wanted in. Offered a $2 million seed with a clean cap table and no board control. I didn't even blink. Lawyer looked it over, signed, done. I paid off my student loans the same day and wired my mom 20 grand without a note. The company moved into a real office space. Nothing fancy, just 3 rooms and a glass door. But it had our name on it. I hired 5 full-time staff, brought in a guy from my old job to handle ops. Even got a part-time social media guy. Everything was scaling. Meanwhile, she was spiraling. The wedding photographer, who I still tipped even after canceling, messaged me a month later. Said she emailed him, demanding he delete the engagement photos. Called them trauma triggers. He told her they were in a Dropbox she had access to, and to delete them herself. Apparently, she emailed back saying, they should be deleted from existence. He's a manipulative liar. Photographer said, "Ma'am, I just take pictures." Then someone sent me her TikTok. She was full-on venting now. Vague videos about betrayal, losing yourself in someone else's dream, and how real queens rise alone. One post had her throwing my hoodie in a fire pit. Another one showed her staring dramatically into a mirror with piano music playing. Comments were brutal. She turned them off by the 3rd video. I ignored it all. Not out of maturity. I just didn't care anymore. I had payroll to hit and investors to update. A few of her relatives found my new business site. One of them, her cousin I think, DM'd me on LinkedIn. It's crazy how fast you bounced back. Not saying she was right, but I hope you'll forgive her one day. She's not okay. Cool story. Blocked. Then, Julia, her trash best friend, showed up in our company Instagram comments under a promo post saying I abused and abandoned my ex, and karma will catch up. She tagged some random burner account with a screenshot of me from 3 years ago at a beach barbecue. Like that proves something. I had our social guy ban her IP, but it kept going. One of her friends from college emailed our general inbox. Said she was a journalist writing about tech founders with problematic pasts. Wanted to know if I'd like to comment on the allegations. I forwarded it to our lawyer. He replied with a formal cease and desist and said any published false claims would result in a defamation lawsuit. Never heard from her again. The rest of my time went to the company. We hit 300,000 users, then 500K. The revenue wasn't insane, but the conversion rate was clean. We weren't burning cash like the big players. We were lean, smart, profitable. That's when her life really started unraveling. She'd moved back in with her parents after losing her job. Apparently, she'd called in sick so many times after the wedding blew up that they just let her go. No legal case. She wasn't even full-time yet. Just gone. She posted online about toxic masculinity in corporate America. Claimed she was blacklisted for speaking her truth. Reality? She didn't show up for 2 weeks straight, and HR stopped returning her emails. One of her old coworkers messaged me anonymously and said she'd been bragging before the wedding about marrying rich and finally quitting the 9-to-5 grind. I guess when the plan failed, so did the attitude. Nick? Still nowhere to be found. I heard from someone that he tried moving back in with his parents, but they shut the door on him. Last update I got said he was delivering food and couch hopping. I didn't even crack a smile when I read it. That would have been giving him too much energy. Then the real punch landed. A VC firm I'd talked to early on reached back out. Said they wanted to put together a Series A offer. Bigger money, longer runway, more visibility. I negotiated hard, held out for terms I wanted, and walked away with a full funding round at an $8 million valuation. We got featured in 2 business newsletters and a podcast. Nothing viral, just industry talk. But it hit close enough to her circle that she found out. She DM'd me from a new account the next day. I saw the article. I always knew you'd do something big. Can we talk? She switched to email. Subject line: closure. Message: I've done a lot of growing. I'd love to meet, even just as friends. I never stopped caring. I marked it spam and archived it. Not angry, not dramatic, just over it. I wasn't finished yet, though. The real revenge was still coming. A year and a half after I walked out, I met someone new. Her name's Brianna. Smart, direct, owns her own online interior design business, and doesn't play games. I met her through a mutual connection during a co-working event. She didn't even know who I was at first, hadn't heard the drama, wasn't connected to any of my ex's circle. She's everything my ex wasn't. Independent, sharp, not addicted to clout or posting fake deep quotes on social media. She didn't care about my money. She had her own. She respected my time. She worked harder than half my dev team. We clicked because neither of us needed anything from the other. That made it real. We dated for 6 months before I proposed. I did it clean. No crowd, no fake proposals for Instagram. Just us, no cameras. She said yes. We signed a prenup 2 weeks later. She offered, not me. That told me everything I needed to know. 2 days after we posted a quiet engagement announcement, black text on white background, no tagging, the messages started again. The ex sent me an email that just said, "Wow, her?" That told me everything. See, Brianna and my ex hated each other back in college. Different sororities, same major. My ex used to call her a wannabe business Barbie. I'd heard that maybe once or twice years ago and didn't think anything of it. But apparently the hate ran deep. Petty high school drama that spilled into campus politics and cliques. Now I was marrying her. A week later, her best friend Julia, yes, still around, posted some fake inspirational quote about men who replace you with a knockoff and call it growth. 10 comments. All bitter. She deleted it when people asked who it was about. Meanwhile, Brianna? She just laughed. I started seeing old mutuals drop off her following list. Some unfollowed me too. Good. Let the trash take itself out. But then it got worse for her. Someone, I won't say who, dropped a copy of the screenshots from the wedding scam into a private group chat she was in with some of her old high school friends. Then those screenshots leaked into another one. Then another. By the end of the week, I had 3 people send me screenshots of people reacting to her texts. The ones calling me disgusting, planning to take half my money, calling me an idiot. The ones where she told Nick she was faking everything. The ones where she said she couldn't wait to divorce and disappear. They all knew now. Her rep was gone. Some people still defended her, said she made a mistake, that she was young, whatever. But most? Quiet. Some started blocking her. One even posted something like, "Funny how the real ones always stay quiet while the snakes expose themselves." I didn't comment, didn't share it, I just watched. Then the real hit came. Brianna and I got invited to speak at a tech and design founders conference in Chicago. She gave a 15-minute talk about designing for function over trend. I talked about turning small pain points into usable platforms. It wasn't huge, a few hundred people, but it got picked up by 2 blogs and reposted. One of those blog writers used a side-by-side photo of me and Brianna. That image got around. 2 days later, I got a DM from an account I didn't recognize. "You're disgusting." She was right. You're emotionally abusive and manipulative. Profile pic was blank. Username had a string of random numbers. Obvious burner. I blocked it. 5 minutes later, another one, then a third. Then Julia posted again. This time more direct. "Some men look successful on paper but are empty inside. No amount of money erases being trash." We all knew who that was about. I didn't reply. But Brianna did. She commented, "You sound broke." 3 words. That was it. The post got ratioed so hard Julia deleted her account for a week. We announced the wedding date a month later. Small guest list. Private property in New Hampshire. No press, no fluff. But someone on the vendor team, probably a photographer, leaked a teaser photo to their business page. Guess who showed up outside the gate 2 days before the wedding? My ex. She wasn't invited. She wasn't even in the state, as far as I knew. She drove 5 hours and just stood at the edge of the property line, trying to talk to one of the caterers. Said she needed to speak to the groom. Security caught her. Asked if I wanted to involve the police. I said no. Just escort her off, make it clear she shows up again. They don't ask me next time. She left without saying a word. The day of the wedding? Flawless. Small, clean, no drama. Brianna looked like a threat and walked like she built the building. I wore a suit I paid for myself. We signed our prenup again, just for fun. Double copy. Laminated. The sugar mama Nick used to date sent us a wedding gift. A custom-framed art piece with the word closure in thick black letters. It's on my office wall now. The ex ? Still jobless. Still living with her parents. She made a throwaway account and tried commenting on one of our business updates. Said we were frauds, that I stole her ideas. I sent a DM to the site admin with the proof of her identity and the old text logs. Account was banned in under an hour. Her world shrank. Fast. No friends, no savings, no fallback. All the doors she thought she could open with drama or good looks, slammed. People started ignoring her. The whispers got louder. I didn't have to humiliate her. She did that on her own. 6 months after the wedding, she tried again. Another burner account. This time she didn't come in hot. No insults, no blaming. Just a DM to our company inbox with her actual name signed at the bottom. I'm sorry for how everything ended. I've had time to think. I never stopped caring. I know it's too late, but I wanted you to know. Attached was a resume. I didn't reply. She was applying for a job at my company. I forwarded it to HR with a note. Deny professionally, then blacklist the name. That was it. Her LinkedIn said she was open to work in 4 different fields. Marketing, admin, customer support, even real estate. She dropped every old job title and listed content strategist, even though she hadn't published anything since 2021. I checked her website. Gone. Instagram? Wiped clean. TikTok? Private. Every friend she'd kept on social media stopped liking her posts. Some removed her completely. Julia? Off-grid. Deactivated everything after the last blow-up. Rumor was they weren't even speaking anymore. A week later, she emailed directly again. I heard you're hiring. I don't expect anything, but maybe we could meet, even just for coffee. I know we have history, but I think we both grew from it. She dropped Brianna's name in there too. Tell Brianna I admire her. You guys seem solid. I'm happy for you. I left it unread, marked as spam. She was fishing, for attention, for an angle, for anything. Too late. I didn't need revenge anymore. I already won. She lost her job, her reputation, her future plans. The guy she thought she'd upgrade to? Nick's still couch surfing and got sued last month for stealing tech equipment from one of his short-term gigs. He posted a GoFundMe begging for rent money. Got $30 in 2 weeks. Brianna and I closed our Series B funding. We opened a second office. The product's been stable. Revenue's predictable. We built a team with actual backbone. People who don't flinch when things get hard. No fake friends, no manipulators, no freeloaders. I still get the occasional email from someone who used to be in her corner. They try to check in, ask if I ever think about reaching out. Some say she's not the same anymore. That she's changed. That she's been quiet lately. Yeah, no shot. She doesn't have anyone left to lie to. Then one night, I saw her. I was at a conference dinner, networking event. Brianna was across the room talking to a group of designers. I was with 2 investors and a startup founder when I saw her walking past the windows outside. Alone. She looked thinner. Not runway thin. More like stress thin. Worn out. Probably trying to see who was inside. She paused, looked in, saw me, and froze. I didn't move. Didn't wave. Just looked at her like I was staring through a window, not at a person. She stood there for about 5 seconds, then turned and walked off. That was the last time I saw her. No more emails after that. No calls. No burner DMS. Nothing. Just silence. Brianna asked later if I saw her. I said, yeah. She didn't press it. That's the difference. Brianna doesn't play power games. She didn't need to hear how broken the ex looked, or how satisfying it was to see her alone in the cold. She knew I'd already buried that chapter. The ex wasn't a threat. She was a page in the book we closed and moved on from. I didn't need to confront her, or humiliate her, or drag her online. She got exactly what she earned. The kind of ending you write for yourself when you burn everything around you thinking no one will notice.